Have you ever seen or heard of those coaches who makes crazy amounts of money with their tiny followings? Have you ever wondered how the duck are they actually doing that? Well, I have. And after taking a closer look and studying dozens of coaches with asymmetrical returns, I can tell you what I found, that it has nothing to do with going viral, has nothing to do with posting 14 times a day, has nothing to do with posting a podcast a week, has absolutely nothing to do with the Instagram secret Instagram hack, the hooks that they're using, and not even the hashtag they're using, which should be obvious. In this video, I'm going to cover and go over how smaller coaches with less followers than you are making more money than you while working less than you are. It's all based on the fundamental principle in marketing of knowing your customer. When you know your customer, you can directly target your customer correctly and talk to them in your messaging in a way that you actually move these people to take action upon the direction that you want them to. Specificity and making it resonate equals a feeling of speciality, which leads to conversions. Now, let's dive into all these things. I want you to keep this top of mind as we go through this board right here. The human brain, built through years and years and millions of years of evolution, of course, is hardwired to keeping you alive. Now, if you've ever had that point of actually wanting to go to the gym, you've had it, you've woken up, maybe you've woken up early and decided you want to go to the gym because you want to get more fit, you want to get more confident, you want to get more girls, or get more boys, whatever it is, what did you want to do? And then when you look outside, it's raining, it's cold, it sucks, maybe it's even windy as well, which I absolutely despise. And you're not really that keen to go into the gym anyway, especially if you don't have a car. This in here is inbuilt resistance for keeping us comfortable and keeping us safe. That's what the human mind does. In the same way that we want to go from discomfort to comfort, we want to, of course, when you talk into evolutionary details, is of course keeping you from dying and keeping you to survival. We want to go from death, of course, to surviving. When back in the caveman days, when it was actually super cold outside and you had to go hunt for food, had to go gather, you knew it was very uncomfortable, and that is why there was a lot of resistance going there, because you know you might die. You wanted to stay in the cave, you wanted to stay warm, you wanted to stay comfortable, because otherwise, of course, you wanted to keep your family alive, you wanted to keep producing your family and actually keep your existence going as well. So, the most fundamental principle in marketing and in human beings as well is essentially humans move away from pain towards pleasure. Super simple. But now you might be thinking, what does evolution have to do with getting coaching clients or getting clients at all? And I'll tell you that in just a minute. The lesson here is pain is the greatest motivator for taking action. And now we can actually use this lesson to find the best and most profitable demographic within your market to gain profit the quickest with the least amount of input, aka where we have the most leverage. This all comes down to your customers' awareness about their own situation. I apologize for the bad drawing right here. And as you might know, there are 5 different stages of customer awareness. We're starting from the top with the bliss of ignorance. We're starting all the way up from unaware to problem aware to solution aware, moving down to product aware, and moving all the way down to most aware. At the stage of being the most aware, there's the greatest amount of pain. You know that you have an issue, you know there's a solution to your issue, you know there's a specific product that you want that actually can help you with solving that issue that's really, really hurting. And then the most aware that you're aware of all of these things, aka you're in the most pain that you've ever been. Now, if you've ever read this book from Chet Holmes, The Ultimate Sales Machine, he calls it essentially stadium selling. Stadium selling is basically where you are considered as the speaker, and very simply, there's all these different demographics that you can tailor your message to. Very simple. It starts off from the top, where there's 33% right here, and these people are not in the market at all. They don't think that they have the problem that you want to solve, and they are the hardest to reach, and actually also the most inexpensive to convert. The next 33%, it will get closer to the stage here. They might admit that they have the problem that you potentially could solve, but it's not a priority for them. And if you look back, it's where people are beginning to be problem aware. They might admit it, but it's not really a priority for them, which means there's not really that much pain that they're in. We move a little bit closer to the stage, the next 30%. These people right here, that was very simple. These people right here acknowledge that fairly often that they're struggling with whatever problem that it is that you help your clients with, and or that actually want the results you can actually provide. it still isn't a top priority. Maybe it's not the most vital Bottleneck that's keeping them stuck in where they are, but they do have a much higher likelihood of purchasing than the previous demographics up here. These people are beginning to be solution aware. They are aware of the solution that you have and that you actually help your clients with, but it might not be the top priority for them. They still could be convinced very easily, but it's not the easiest demographic to convince. The last part here, that are the VAP ones, I guess you can call them, are what we call in-market. The last 4% of this percentile is essentially the people that identify with the pain and the problem your solution helps with, and they're actively looking for a solution to the problem urgently. They are what we call in-market people. This means that they have a massive pain. These are the people that are most aware. They are product aware as well. And they are trying to get their problem solved actively and urgently, and they are willing to pay for the solution to get it as quickly as possible. These people are the most likely to convert the fastest and also the easiest because they need less of a push. And simply, they are the easiest to reach because, as you can see, the people that are furthest away are actually the people that are the hardest to convert, as you can see. Because the people that are the furthest away from you, up here in this 33 percentile, are essentially the people that aren't really aware of the problem that they actually have, which means that they are actually not being. I mean, if you think back to the principle that we went through just before, pain is the greatest motivator, and these people have the least pain, which means they're the least likely and the hardest people to get to take action. And the further we move down here towards this 4% right here, the easier they are to motivate to take action because they are in the most pain. A figure from Jeremy Haynes, which I really encourage you guys to look into if you haven't already. He gave this a little bit different visualization of essentially the same thing of stadium selling, but it basically makes it a little bit easier. The further you come into this circle, the easier people are to convert, and the easier these people are to get in touch with as well. What most people do is essentially that they target the last two demographics, but especially the 30 percentile here, the people that are solution aware, because again, they actually are acknowledging very often that they are struggling with a problem and that they actually see the solution and they might want the solution that you can provide, but might need a little bit more convincing, which means there's nothing wrong with it. This is just people that want your solution. They want to be in a specific desire. So let's say that you are a fitness coach, for example. You're a fitness coach and that you are helping people with losing, I don't know, the last amount of, let's say you help people lose 10 kilograms of fat, let's say, right? In these 10 kilograms, there are people that want to lose 10 kilograms of fat, and there are people that are already trying to lose 10 kilograms of fat. Now, the people that want to lose 10 kilograms of fat do acknowledge that they want to get slimmer. They do acknowledge that they want to be more confident and that they want to lose fat. And that way they are actually also in pain. But the people, and these want people are in the 30 percentile, right? They are solution aware of your solution to the problem, and they are aware of the issues that they're having. The people that are trying, though, to actually lose these 10 kilograms of fat, they might have lost 10 kilograms of fat already. They might have lost 8 kilograms of fat, or maybe only 2 kilograms of fat already. If they might have gotten stuck, these people are a lot easier to actually convinced to actually convert because they're already trying, they're already looking to actually lose these 10 kilograms of fat, even though they might actually not be going out as well, even though they might not be as successful as they want to be, which means that they are in higher pain because they are most aware. They are most aware of the pain that they're in, and they are most aware of the solution that you have, and they are much more motivated and engaged on getting the result that they actually want, right? And that's the last 4%. The demographic isn't huge, but that's why it makes the most sense, because they take the least amount of convincing, because they're in the most pain, they have the greatest desire to actually get the result that you want. Move away from the pain, onto the desire, right? Now, this is actually how coaches with under 1,000 followers are making 8 to 10K a month, because I know of a fitness coach, speaking of that, with 666, and that was a terrible 3, with 3 followers that are making 8K a month currently. That's insane. 663 people in his follower list. That's absolutely insane. Now, essentially it's because they need less followers, but of higher quality, right? They need less people, which are the 4%. The 4% is not a lot. It's 96% of all these here. And this also means that each follower is more valuable because it takes the coaches using this strategy, it takes them less effort and also less investment to get to these high quality clients, because they are already the most aware of the solution, because they might actually be shopping around a little bit, might actually be looking at different people, looking at different strategies. They might even just need to get that last push of the last person that they're trying to find, because they might need to be aligned. Perhaps, we don't know, of your specific market, but you know. And it's by being sniper-like with their targeting and messaging towards a specific demographic, the in-market ones that are already in-market, looking to get their huge pain point solved urgently. That's the key. Huge pain point, get it solved urgently. It's simply because the perception of the coach's value is far greater when you use this type of approach. Not only do they face this competition as they try to not talk to everyone, their prospects are willing to pay high tickets since the offer feels like it was made for them, specifically with themselves in mind, that it's custom tailored. This is exactly what I need, they might be thinking, to get me out of this super painful situation to this goal. And as we talked about before, people move away from pain towards pleasure. Not really used to drawing on this thing, as you can see. And also because it resonates and relates both emotionally and logically and builds trust through connection. They feel seen and understood. It's also a key part of the human psychology, basic human needs. Essentially, they connect with the creator or the coach, and they build trust through that immense amount of trust, because they connect with them both emotionally and also logically, because it resonates and relates to them. They feel like they understood and that this person actually gets them. And on top of that, these clients will get way better results because they pay high ticket, which means that it perceived as higher value. If you, for example, if you have a book, let's say that costs $5, and a book that costs $1,000, and essentially they do the exact same thing. If you buy the $1,000 book, you better get your damn money's worth. Like, it better be worth it, because it probably is, because you assume that since it's more expensive, it's going to be more valuable. And the more painful the price point, the more committed and quick action they will take. Now, let's actually go to how you can actually apply this. First things first is that you need to identify the psychographics within your in-market ICP in the demographic, again, of these in-market people in here. And if you don't know already, psychographics go beyond basic demographic like we went through before. Age, gender, income, the problems, etc., to give a deeper emotional and behavioral insight into the person or audience. And of course, audience is just made up of a lot of different people or persons. Psychographics are things like core motivations, beliefs, self-identity, decision style, pain points, lifestyle interest. When you know all these things, you can basically get anyone to do anything, because you can make it so personalized and so custom tailored that they feel like it was made specifically for them, which it was, which is why it works so perfectly. Now, how do I actually find these psychographics? Great question. Now, first things first is to identify the pain points and the desires, because we need to know what makes them not want to be in a specific situation and where they need to go towards, right? Towards their desires, where they want to go and where do they want to get away from. First, conduct thorough research to identify the specific language, emotions, and struggles that they experience. You can do things like studying previous and current interviews and testimonials of clients. You can analyze competitors' comment section, which is one of my personal favorite ones, and also check their case studies, because in every case study that's either on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, I would probably recommend YouTube, since YouTube are the most in-depth ones, and they go through the entire journey of what they struggled with before and where they actually went through. So you can actually dig a little bit deeper into that. You just need to find a specific coach and then search up for their case studies. Super simple. Now, what you can also do is that you can participate in communities on the platform where your clients operate on, so where they actually hang out, as Russell Brunson would say. You can also check relevant forums, websites, or also softwares. My favorite ones are Reddit, Quora, you can do X or Twitter. Answer the Public is a great one as well. Google Trends or TikTok Trends also work. And also one of my favorite ones is using top creators / influencers, also coaches as well, of course, and with their lead magnets. Now, why do I say specifically lead magnets? Now, the reason being is lead magnets, if it's a very popular and actually very well engaged lead magnet, what this actually means is that there's a lot of people that want to know what this solution is, and then you can just reverse engineer, look into the specific video, and figure out what is the actual problem that this lead magnet solves. Very simple. The next step is, of course, to tailor your messaging to this specifically. By making and by talking about their problems and desires again in an emotional way so that they actually resonate and relate to it. The reason why is because it builds trust from we-ness. If you haven't read this book by Robert Cialdini, I highly recommend it. He talks about a lot of good stuff in there. It's basically the psychology of persuasion and influence. We-ness essentially means it's a feeling of unity. There we go. Of unity. Essentially that we are alike, the we-ness, that we are alike. And if somebody is like ourselves, then we are more likely to actually trust them, because we wouldn't hurt us, so why would they, right? Very primal stuff, to be fair. And then, of course, you speak to their emotional language. They have the same goals, and they have the same problems as well. So in your story, because you need to talk in storytelling, you make them feel the burden, the stress, and maybe even the highs and lows of the journey that they're going through. Again, resonating to their story so that they have that feeling of unity, so that you build trust. Now, it all has to be congruent, of course, especially if you're doing high ticket, right? Super important. Every part in your funnel needs to be congruent. With everything from your short form content, your YouTube content like this, your landing pages, your Instagram stories, your emails, your ads, your VSL, even your SMSs needs to be on point and needs to be congruent. Very important. If something is inconsistent, if this is just the truth, it's really hard and it takes a lot of effort, but if something is inconsistent, they will be skeptical and they will lose trust that you already built with them. Just a small amount of it. Let's say as you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, right? So this is you. Yay. Very happy. And you have over here, you have your boyfriend or girlfriend. Let's say that you have your girlfriend here, right? Beautiful right here. Girlfriend. Very happy. Now, if you guys are, of course, very happy couple. And let's say that on 363 days of the year, right? Your girlfriend is loyal. Your girlfriend is very, very, loyal and keen to your emotions. And you guys feel very connected, that you trust this person. Trust is at an all-time high, right? Trust is established and is at an all-time high, right? Now, what happens let's say that you have Halloween. Let's say you have Halloween here, and maybe, I don't know, Easter, perhaps. You guys go to a party, right? In the party, you get some drinks, perhaps get a little bit tipsy, yada yada. This is supposed to be a martini. And essentially what happens that either she cheats on you, very sad, but it does happen, or she flirts with somebody else and you don't really like that. Now, what happens to the trust that you've built before? It kind of takes a decline, right? And because there's proof of a little bit of inconsistency. Of course, we're all humans, so of course this isn't something to actually blame somebody on, even though cheating shouldn't do that. Of course, nobody likes that and everybody hates people that cheat. But you get the point, right? Since the brand essentially are off-brand, you have the 2 days of the year. What are you going to think of the last 363 days? They're not really going to matter, because what you're going to think of is that it's actually a little bit inconsistent. The whole picture has kind of fallen apart, cracked a little bit, right? So it doesn't have the same feel, the same value, the same essence, the same power, you can say. So that's why it's really important that everything needs to be congruent. So they need to feel so acknowledged and understood by you articulating the problems back to them. So showing them that you actively listen in your content, of course, and also in your sales calls, and also in the DMs, that ideally you can articulate their problems better than they can back to them, so that you actually give them clarity. If they know that, oh yeah, I just don't know, I don't know where I need to go, I don't know what I need to do, I don't know what's happening, all these things. Okay, so you lack direction, okay, and you lack a clear path, and you lack a little bit of clarity. Is that correct? Yes. Oh my God, you read my mind. Like, if they're actually a little bit jumbled, if their mind is a little bit like this, and you can show them a way that goes like this, they're gonna like you. They're gonna trust you a lot because they actually feel like you understand them, that you actually know what they're talking about, feel like that you know them better than they do, or know they know you very well, right? That they actually sit back with a calm feeling in their gut, which is where your intuition lies, that they think, wow, this was made just for me. If you can actually really, if you can make this a home run, make it feel like it was just for them by talking about their exact pain points, exact desires, exactly what their interests are, their judgments, if they're logical or emotional, the way that they make decisions, how they handle stress, like all of these different things, and you can show that you actually understand them and they can give them clarity on where they need to go. Oh boy, you've done really well for yourself there. So yeah, then they're gonna feel like this was made just for me. This is exactly where I want to go. This is exactly the issues that I'm having. I'm going through this guy, because this is how you actually differentiate yourself from just another coach to actually being their coach. So, and of course, they on top of that have to like you as well. But this is really the key thing. This is why going to the in-market people, creating kind of like a micro personal brand, you can say, is really key, because that way you make solid claims that hold weight for this specific type of demographic, the specific type of person within this 4%, maybe even less, types of people, and they are willing to spend money on tailor-made things. If you think of why is a suit so much more expensive than just an off-the-rack suit from Zara, perhaps a tailored suit, right? Because it's made exactly to you. It's tailored exactly to your situation. It knows if you need to go to a wedding and you're single and you want to go there to get to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever, then it's gonna be more expensive, and you're willing to pay more money for it because the experience is there. Your exact needs are being met. It's custom made. It's tailor made. Of course, you're gonna pay more money for it, right? Except for just something from Zara that you think kind of fits, right? Okay, so that's really the key. Make them feel like it was just for them, just like before. Make it custom tailored. Make them think that it was made specifically with them in mind, because it was, right? Now, last but not least, we need to put this into reality. And the way that it could look like could be this, right? So you have either organic content and or, say, oh, that was very bad. So you have organic content and paid ads, or a mixture of both, or one of each, right? To actually get people into your nurturing ecosystem, aka your profile. This profile needs to be packed with value. Let them know that you only work with this specific types of person, with their specific needs. You only solve this problem or this pain. You only provide this specific solution to this type of person. This is really bad, I'm sorry. To this specific types of person, right? Because then everybody else who actually goes onto your profile, they see, oh, it's not really for me, I'm not really keen to that. It might be interesting, you might get followers still, but the most amount of followers, let's say, is like 80-20, right? 80% that are coming into your ecosystem is going to be people that are qualified, because they see that you only work with that specific type of person, you only solve specific type of problems to get to a specific type of goal. If your goal is to lose fat and you find somebody who, now we're taking the fitness example again, but let's say your goal is to lose fat and you find somebody who is helping people gain muscle, you're not really gonna be that keen to actually learning from him, right? It's not really tailored to your situation. You're not really willing to spend that much money on it. You're not really that interested in it because it doesn't align with your goals. When these people that are actually qualified, that actually come into your profile, they are framing you as the solution, because you're basing your content the way that they can consume it. They're going to binge it through based around their specific problems, their specific goals. Of course, you have to keep in mind they have to be in the state of mind of actually wanting to solve that specific problem as well. Important part. And then you could, for example, use an Instagram story to actually convert these people, because since they are already in, let's say they're already in the state of mind of actually buying and getting the solutions whenever they're scrolling through Instagram, and since they're already in the demographic of somebody who's actively looking, once they found your Instagram, check through your content, they see how much of an authority you are, because you can show them content that's value packed towards their specific situation and towards solving their specific pain points. They're of course going to check out your stories because you impress them. So that way you're going to be noticed, right? They care about you now. They've built this specific type of connection with you and the specific relationship with you. Then of course they're going to be watching your Instagram stories, right? Then you can just throw a simple up. This is just an example of how it could look like, right? You throw up a bunch of proof. Again, let's say you're a fitness coach. You throw up a picture that you're in good shape. Are you tired of, let's say, are you tired of not having any muscle? then I understand. And then there's of course a natural urgency of the Instagram stories. That's why it works really well. Well, here's the solution to how, I don't know, Jack or how I lost 10 kilograms of fat and actually built my dream body within 6 months or something like that. If you want to learn a little bit more, you can text me the word summer down below. Then you're just going to pop open here into this little, you know how Instagram stories work. And then of course, I'm not going to work with anybody, so make sure that you're actually qualified, for example. Add a little bit of scarcity, right? This is just how it could work. I'm not saying that this is exactly how it works, but it's just a variation of what it could look like, right? And then of course you just set them on an appointment in the DMs and you close them on a call. Happy days, very simple. Then you get the money, the moolah, right? And they are much more likely to spend more money with you because you have given them a tailored solution, something that feels tailor-made, and you're going to make the tailor-made. And that way they're also going to be easier to convert. And if you handle any objections in your organic content and in your ads, which you also can tailor it into as well, you just need to know what it actually is, then there are going to be less objections, easier sales calls, onboarding call, collect the payment, bing bada boom, then you got a new client. Very simple. Now, if you want a proven DM framework with a 3 to 5% conversion rate of your current followings, or you have any simple questions, DM me Jacob Lyng on Instagram, and then I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. I hope everything made sense. Hope you have a lovely day. Take care.